Good morning. Uh, Good morning. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Uh, my name is Frangel the Artist. En mi piel humana con un abrigo de chihuire. Y este es el día 5 de practicando las escalas mayores y menores que he aprendido en the Ridley Academy. Today is going to be a little bit of a different practice. I only have 30 minutes, and if you have been seeing my previous videos from this week, practicing minor and major scales, just practicing either major or minors, take about 45 minutes, right? At least the way I'm doing it. Uh, and I only have a little bit more than 30. So I am not gonna practice today, at least not right now. I will practice later, but I will not stream that. Or maybe I will, I don't know. But anyways, I'm gonna take this opportunity today to actually introduce myself and talk a little bit about who I am. As you all know, my name is Frangel the Artist, en mi piel humana con un abrigo de chihuire. But who is Frangel the Artist? Well, I come from Venezuela. I was born there 40 years ago. Uh, and I was raised by a single mom. I who did her best for me to be here talking behind this camera to you right now. Some way, somehow, life figured itself out as it always does. And things happen in Venezuela with obviously politics. And I ended up here in Los Angeles. Curiously enough, I always wanted to live here in LA since I was a little kid, because ever since I was a little kid, I wanted to be an artist. And 9.5 years ago, I landed here in Los Angeles. Uh, it's crazy because seriously, I didn't plan for me to be here where I am today. I had given up my dream of becoming an artist, reason why I became a personal trainer more than a decade ago, probably like 12, 13 years ago. And I still am a personal trainer and I love it. But, anyways, I gave up on my becoming an artist dream, became a personal trainer. Uh, as I said before, things happened back in Venezuela and that brought me here. And I ended up submitting my papers for political asylum. And I'm still waiting for the interview. I actually have to check my email right after this because after 9 years and a half, I might have an appointment for this interview, right? Which is nerve wracking, to be honest with you. Because, again, it's been 9.5 years, and worst, best case scenario, my asylum case gets accepted and I am allowed to stay here in America, in Los Angeles, in California. But worst case scenario, uh, it gets denied. And you know what happens after that. I would have to probably return after almost 10 years, right? I'm 40. I would have to pretty much start from scratch in a place that I personally don't feel safe. My mom still there, and one of the reasons why I'm sharing my artistic process in YouTube, Instagram, is because at some point I want to be able to submit to what's the word, petition myself for an artist visa, an artist of exceptional skills. So that's why I do all the things that's why I started dancing a few years ago. That's why I'm making music. That's why I became a music video editor for uh, some quite recognized artists, especially in the rock scene. That's why I started directing, writing, producing not just my music but my own music videos. And Last Days of Jude is my live project, and it's the name that I used to release my music or what I've used so far. And our music videos have been recognized in different music festivals here in Los Angeles and also in Asia and Europe. So, anyways, that's kind of in a nutshell my story. And I am sharing that because something in my mind told me in my head, hey, use this time for that. You might not have time to practice the skills. Okay. But you do have time to talk about who you are, to introduce yourself to these people who have been watching you practice. And the whole reason why I am sharing this information in English is my mom knows this information, so there's no reason for me to share this in Spanish unless you wanted to, because apparently English has a wider reach in the world. And yeah, what else can I tell you about me? Well, the song that I've been starting this last of couple episodes is called Dejando el Ayer, which translates as letting go of yesterday. It's Last Days of Jude upcoming single, and it's co-produced by Alejandro Martinez and yours truly, and it's gonna be released in a few months from now. So I'm also using this platform to promote all the things that I do. As I said earlier, I am also not just an artist, but I'm a personal trainer, and personal training is, in a way, part of my artistic outlet too. And that's how I am able to, be here, because that's how I make a living. And yeah, uh, I'm currently, you know, uh, trying to do my best to make my business grow, to help my mom. Circumstances in Venezuela are getting worse and worse as we speak. it's been years of political abuse, social abuse by the people who are in charge of the game down there. And a lot of us have fallen victim of their game. And I am currently, helping my mom, trying to see the world behind a different glass. Because also something that you might not know about me, I was diagnosed with depression ever since I was what? I remember 9 years old. And it wasn't until June 2022 that I was able to break through that lens of depression, through that box, through that perspective. It took me more than 30 years to be able to wake up and feel grateful for I was alive. I never understood until 2022, June 2022, what it was like to be grateful. I could grasp the logical concept behind it, but I couldn't really understand it. I couldn't really feel it. But one day I broke through and I was literally sitting on a chair, 6 a.m., opened my eyes after an incredible, intense, mind bending experience. And I felt I had woken up from the longest slumber ever. My first thought after seeing how wonderful the opportunity to be here was how long was I gone? How long was I asleep? And the reason why I'm sharing that is if you have been following me on Instagram and even here, I tend to share a very uplifting, I tend to be very uplifting, very introspective. And that's me. That's not a facade. That's not a persona. That's not an alter ego. That's genuinely who I am. And I used to make music because I was depressed. I used to make music to find myself. And you can see that in one of my songs called Misery. I wrote the song because I was depressed as, and I say in the bridge, I will find myself, because in 2018 I started the music project that I told you about earlier, Last Days of Jude, and my objective was to find myself. I knew there was something wrong with me. I knew I wasn't okay. I didn't know why. And something in me told me, put your energy into music and use this gift that you have of making music to figure yourself out. I remember I quit my job In the process, I ended up abandoning a relationship of, in that moment, 8 years. But eventually, I found myself. And now I am making music. I am sharing these things and on Instagram and all the things that I do and share to lift the world up, to lift myself up too, you know? There's a lot of noise out there. There's a lot of data. There's a lot of colors, shapes, backgrounds, sounds. And I am part of that, whether I like it or not, right? Because I am here. And I want to be a different part of that sound. I want to be someone who shares joy. I want to be someone who shares love. I want to be someone who shares empathy, who shares compassion. I want to be someone who shares my truth, not to convince anyone about it, but to open up a space for others who might resonate or not with what I say to share their own truth and to live their truth. That is the most important thing. To live our truth. Something that I learned in my process towards overcoming depression was that I was depressed because I thought I couldn't be myself. I thought I wasn't allowed to be who I am today. I thought I wasn't allowed to dance. I thought I wasn't allowed to make the music I wanted. So I developed this bigotry and anger and hatred, not just towards the world, the physical realm beyond my eyes, but towards myself. And I wasn't probably the only one, as well as I am probably not the only one who has been able to overcome that lens of depression. And I see there's a lot of pain in the world, a lot of hatred, a lot of separation, a lot of judgment, conditionings. And I feel that the only way to change that is by changing ourselves first. One day I also realized that if I want the world to accept me, if I want the world to be compassionate, to be empathetic, to be welcoming, to embrace me, number one, I need to have compassion towards myself. I need to be self-empathetic. I need to be free of judgments towards myself. I need to set myself free from conditionings and belief systems that I don't necessarily resonate with. And then that will reflect on how I am perceiving my world. And I've been applying that philosophy or that practice, and it's been life changing. And if you want to know more about it, I share a lot of that on my Instagram account at Freangel the Artist. But anyways, yeah, I am here to share my journey, to share the process, to share the voices of self, of self that are in my head. For me, self is what most people in the current world refer to as God, which I believe is an abused word. For so abused, like that, I don't want to use it for who I perceive or what I perceive self is. Because also, God has this external meaning, right? God is outside of us. Self resides in each one of us. And this, what we are seeing, my belief, this is just a projection, an hologram, or an hologram. I don't know how you pronounce it in English. It's an illusion, okay? It is such an illusion that when you think about it, animals perceive different colors than us and vice versa. Animals hear different things that we can't. So that means that there's a lot of data in this physical realm coming from somewhere inside. A lot of it. And we can only perceive the data or the data that is beneficial to our collective and individual survival, but mostly collective. So anyways, I don't want to get all like metaphysical and stuff, at least not right now. uh, Thank you for listening to this. I had absolutely no agenda here, no plan. I was just like, okay, let's just talk about who you are to your subscribers. If you're still watching this, thank you very much. I appreciate you. You're awesome. This is a gift being here, alive, being able to feel the human experience, which sometimes I know it can be hard, it can be challenging, but it's amazing. And when it is challenging, it's because we have resistance to changing, resistance to following a different path. But if there's a lesson here that I want to share with you, we were born and we had a dream. Follow that dream. We are here in paradise to make our dreams come true. And when a door closes, a million doors open up. All of us are very unique and beautiful and amazing. Therefore, we don't need to follow the same path as our neighbor or the same path as we see the person on television or on social media. I'm so 90s now, or 80s, I don't know. We all have different paths. Okay, it took me a long time for me to actually feel and grasp that concept with my soul. So, follow your own path, listen to your soul, and stay connected with the source from the inside out. beautiful, you're amazing, you're smart, you're talented, you're capable, you're everything that you want to be. All the amazing things that you want to be, you are. Gracias. Mi nombre es Freangel the Artist. En mi piel humana, con un abrigo de chigüire. Y esto fue el día 5 de no prácticas de escalas mayores y menores que he estado aprendiendo online en the Ridley Academy. No estoy asociado de ninguna manera con ellos, by the way. Thank you so much. Enjoy your wonderful day.